Hey. Good luck with that. All right, it's Turf and Tools review time again. I almost knocked myself out on the tool that we're about to review. The Husqvarna 525iLXT professional line trimmer. Now we will be testing this machine with the BLI 200s because that's what I was given. This was sent out to me to try. This is just on loan from Husqvarna. This is not their largest capacity battery. They do have I think it's a 9 amp hour battery. This one's 5 amp hour. Pretty light and makes for a light package altogether. So if you do like lightweight, that's probably the go, but I'd prefer a little bit of extra runtime and a bit more weight because it's still going to be a pretty light machine even with the 300 in it. According to their specs, I haven't weighed it. I think the skin alone is 3.1 kilos. That says without cutting gear. So my assumption is that's without the guard and the head on it. So call it somewhere around 3.5 kilos. I think this is 1.3 kilos. So you're looking under 5 kilos for a decent powered battery line trimmer, which is actually pretty impressive. Their battery systems are very different to most of the other ones I've tried. You get these little, I was gonna say cube, but I guess it's not quite a cube, is it? The terminals are just down under there, and then it feeds into this hollow little section here. Make sure you put it in the right way. Fills that section. And that's it, and you're good to go once you turn the power on. So yeah, 525iLXT BLI 200. Now this is not an inexpensive machine, so if you're looking for a budget priced, powerful battery line trimmer, this is not your machine. Probably aimed at contractors or premium domestic users. People like myself that like to spend a lot of money on lots of different tools that do like a premium machine. We're going to go and mow a lawn that I used to mow for a client. I don't do it for them anymore, but they did beg me to do it, so I thought good chance to test it out. We will then find some progressively We will then find some progressively heavier grass to test this thing in. I will be very clear, I don't think this is aimed at someone doing heavy slashing or anything. I think it'd be a great machine though for someone doing maintenance mowing, particularly because of the weight and just feel of the machine. So yeah, price wise, definitely not cheap. You're looking at skin alone $759, $289 for these BLI 200s. Again, I'd probably invest in the BLI 300s, which is more money again. And the quick charger that they sent with it is $269 or $279, somewhere around there. So definitely not an inexpensive machine. I'm going to start with the most unique feature of this. And most of these line trimmers, it's a bump head, you bump it and it pops out more line. This actually has a button to spit out more line. That button spits out more line as you go. So you're going long, I need more line, press it, revs drop off and it just pops out more line. Very different to anything that I've used. I have tried other heads where it's an auto feed, which I'm not a big fan of because I think they work with the revs obviously increase as the line decreases and it senses that and then it'll spit it out, but it takes too long to get to the point where it releases, in my opinion anyway. I like to have a constant line length, of which this has good line length. I've got two numbers on the website, 46 and 47 centimeters, so it's somewhere around there. Either way, that's a good number for a machine like this. Tiny little guard, which is great. Tiny little, I guess you could just say tiny, couldn't you? Big cutaways there, so if you're doing a vertical edge or something you can see, doesn't get in the way, so it's good. I would recommend keeping this on, as I would recommend for all battery machines. The reason for that is if you're running the line too long, you do run the risk of cooking the motor on these things. So not just these, all the brands. I have seen it with multiple brands. They are designed to run at a certain line length, and if you start running it over that, you do run the potential of cooking it. So my advice would be to leave the guard on. If you take it off, you're asking for trouble. It does have a power button, which I'm never a big fan of, but it is what it is. It's a safety thing. 3-speed. 3-speed, top RPM is 7,200, which is quite a good number. You can really hear that spinning away. I generally run it at the highest RPM, generally. We'll see how we go today. I'm generally doing overgrown stuff, but we'll see if we can get away with maybe running it on the 2nd speed, because obviously that will prolong battery life. We're running 2.4mm line in this machine, which I think is probably the better number for it. You're probably going to get better runtime again. Can fit lots of it in this head. Traditional style spool on here where you take the cap off and then wind the line on, but the good thing is it does take a lot of line. I haven't checked if you can put a speed feed on there because I don't know how their ergo feed works, the science behind it, but is it going to be for everyone? I don't know. What's that? Oh, but yeah, we're using the 2.4mm Opti line from Husqvarna. Has a nice rubber D handle here. Because it's got a bit of flex in it, you're going to have less vibration. Less vibrations already because it is a battery line trimmer. That is one of the pluses of battery equipment. Less noise, low vibration. But overall, this thing, I will say, feels at home to me. They're very personal thing, line trimmers. I would recommend before just going out and buying online or anything, go in store, hold it. Because, you know, what I feel is a good balance might not necessarily be what you feel is. As well as the power button, it does have the safety there, so you won't be able to engage the throttle until you put that down, which in theory isn't so bad because you kind of have to put your palm there anyway, or the inside of your thumb, and then you can do it. But I have found I don't necessarily always go right in there, so sometimes I'm found mucking around with it a little bit. So it works. I don't think it's perfect. I like the thinking behind it, but I have noticed myself having to go a couple of times. I think my issue with a lot of this stuff is I try a lot of different machines, so they generally never become second nature to me. Hello, how are you?
Thanks, how are you?
Good. Just talking to myself. Yeah, my problem is I try so many machines that all the little intricate features for them I never become right at home with. My actual thoughts are that any machine, any of its quirks, you'll basically get used to and it'll become second nature for you. So whether it be the automatic feed on this or the trigger, they're things that will just become second nature over time. Anyway, that's probably enough talk. Let's go and start using this damn thing. Back on the racks. I never travel with the batteries in there. I don't think it's a good idea. While they should be locked in, yeah. I mean, they're expensive as well, so you'd be hating life if one of these bounced out somehow. All right, we are here. We've got a bit more to work with than I thought. This is more of setting an edge, and to be honest with you, it's probably something I'd prefer to do with a blade edger to set that edge initially. But it'll be a good little test for it. I am going to run the mower over it first though, just because that takes care of a lot of the bulk up there. We have a patch in there that looks absolutely scorched. We will get it back looking tidy at least. That is some thick grass. All right, the sun's not really being my friend here with the shade of this tree. Hope you can see, but yeah, we've got 2.4mm line, quite a thick edge to set. It is buffalo. Let's get to work. Not sure how it showed up on camera, but it worked well enough. This grass is very thick, so take of that what you will, but looks all right. The throttle response on this is pretty good too, the variable throttle trigger. There's a tiny delay there, but I do feel connected enough to it. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat. We don't have to go straight vertical. If you get a little bit chunky like this, sometimes if you go straight vertical and you're going against the concrete or whatever, you can just wear the line out pretty quickly. So sometimes I like to hit it horizontally like this first. Which gets rid of a lot of the bulk, and then you get a better look at what you're doing too. Sometimes when it's really thick, it can be hard to see where the edge is. So now we can see, we should be able to get a cleaner finish. Should be. I feel like 2.4 mil in this machine is the magic number. I had been running it with 2.7. I guess it just depends on your application, but I really think it's a 2.4 machine. I think if you're doing stuff that probably requires 2.7, I think you're probably using the wrong machine. It's the kind of lightweight machine I'd want to be doing these sort of maintenance mows for. There's a bit more work here, obviously setting the edge, but yeah, it'd be a delight on just a maintenance lawn run. I generally do a vertical when I'm against a hard surface like this. Some people will say it's unnecessary, but I find the grass tends to get really thick in there and bunch up against there and bind around itself and get really thick. So I find if you keep a little groove in there, that eliminates that issue and just looks cleaner, and it's not as hard on the line. This stuff will destroy your line in a heartbeat. Might try it on the second power level, not the max power level, not the max RPM. Still quite effective. Just maintenance stuff, that'll be more than enough. Generally want a little bit more RPM for the thicker stuff. Okay, so this is the backyard. This stuff grows like you're in far north Queensland. This is, how tall is that? That's up to pretty much my elbow. Oh no! We did spit half the line. That's something that doesn't happen all that often. Hopefully we can fix it without too much fuss. Yep. Looks like we got lucky that time. Not 100% sure why that happened in that instance. Alright, that is the edges done front and back. setting the edges again. So, you know, quite a bit of work on the machine. And this is why I say if you're going to be using this commercially, definitely go for the 300 batteries, not the 200. We're down to 1 bar on this battery. Not a massive yard, it's only a 450 square meter block. Yes, it was working at high RPM. Definitely needed it in, I mean, you could have got through it in the lower RPM, but it'd take longer. And if you're taking longer to do the job, what's the point of that? You're just costing yourself money at that point. But it is really, really nice to use, I will say that. I do enjoy using it. I think as a maintenance machine for, you know, fortnightly mows, weekly mows, it'd be awesome because it's lightweight, powerful. But if you haven't got such a regular run and you get a lot of these overgrown lawns where you've got to set the edges or do a lot of whippersnipping, heavy duty whippersnipping, you're probably going to go through quite a few batteries. I haven't tried the BLI 300s, which are, I think, a 9 amp hour. This is a 5 amp hour. I can only try what I've been given. So machine though, I do like it. I was going to go to an empty block and give it a bit of a test, but then I realized I've got chores to do at home. So why don't I just do them? We're going to trim up and tidy up all this, and then when, what was that noise? And then when it runs out of battery, I can go have some lunch. All right, so I've got this section here at 10x speed. I'm showing all of what I got out of one of these BLI 200 batteries. It ended up being around 17 minutes. That's a full trigger time, so it doesn't sound like a lot, which is kind of why I wanted to leave the footage in here of what was actually done, because the minutes don't really mean a lot. It's more about the amount of work that you can get done in that period of time. Again, you have the option for a larger capacity battery as well. I would like to try that and see what sort of runtime you get out of that in a similar scenario. Anyway, just kick back for a minute and see what I got done. Alright, there we go. That's the battery. Got longer than I thought I would, because I wasn't using full throttle, lots of sticks and crap through the grass. It would have just destroyed the line, so we were feathering it. Yeah, that's the battery done. Anyway, that is my look at the Husqvarna 525iLXT. Overall, I do like the machine. As a main sort of maintenance weapon, it's pretty cool, and if you've got enough batteries, I think you're going to be pretty happy with it. The cost is going to turn a lot of people off by the time you add all those batteries. The auto feed button is starting to, man, those cicadas. The auto feed button is starting to grow on me. I wasn't 100% sure about it at the start, but it works flawlessly. Plenty of power on it, even with that 2.4 line, it is just cutting through this stuff. Yeah, pretty impressive machine. If you've got one of these, let me know what you think of it. If you've got any questions about it, let me know in the comments. I think next we need to try one of the lower end battery Husqvarna trimmers, you know, like a home user one. Because I do love this higher end stuff, but obviously there's a lot of people at home that want to see what the home user stuff is like. Maybe that middle of the range stuff. Maybe we can try something there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. See you next time. Oh, you're coming with me, are you? Okay.